Hi, Jamie here, and today's video is brand new for me. I've seen in my foundations video for the 2019 December album that I've never done foundation pages before. And so I'm having a super fun time this year with my December album. And I think it's because I did the foundation pages first, and it really provided for me a lot of creative freedom and energy that I'm still loving even right now. So welcome to what I'm going to call days 1 through 5. And my hope is that we can get through days 1 through 5 in this video. And so I'm going to process through one day at a time with the pages I have already here in the stories that I am ready to tell. All right, you ready to get started? I showed in my foundation pages that I have played along with the Ali Edwards Product Play 3. And so this is one of the pages that goes along with this. This was a PNG file that was made by Amy Gretchen. And so hexagons obviously is a huge theme here. And this is a double-sided page and has this little twirly thing in the middle that's so fun and super different for me. So I just kind of went for it. So I haven't even adhered this down completely yet because I showed recently in my stories, I've been playing with the ScrapbookCom exclusive stencils. And this here, might as well make a plug for it because this is going to be part of my album now. This is one of their 6x8 stencils, obviously. And I used Ranger texture paste and ran it over the stencil onto this piece of vellum with this tree stencil. And then I took it through the Minc machine, the Heidi Swapp Minc machine with the Gold Stars foil. I just happen to have all this stuff here still because I've been playing with this even more. And can you see how those stars are there? Super beautiful foil. It looks like it's going to be like super bright and super brash, but you can see when it comes onto a vellum piece like this that it's just super. Okay, so my camera stopped on me there. And so you're going to see how I'm going to use this in this page now, which kind of happened as an accident, and sometimes it happens. So with no more talking about what I'm going to do, let's just get to work on this page. So day 1 has several photos that are going to be going with it. Actually, this goes like this. And so I'm going to walk you through this. And what I did is I went ahead and I printed on my computer several photos. And then I went and used a template from here and cut them down instead of making them the shapes that I thought I wanted them when I was I used Photoshop Elements 2019 for all of this. So it just works out better that way to actually have it, to cut it actually to a shape instead of trying to figure it out. And it just didn't work. I tried it before and I wasn't happy with how that works. So I think those of us who you're going to see out here that are using these hexagon shapes are going to be cutting them to the shape, just sort of freehand. And I just opted to do that at another time. I didn't do it here on camera. So I'm going to put these photos in place on here, as you can see. And I did kind of have an idea before I started this page what day 1 is going to be like. This is one of my traditional pages that has to do either with us picking up the tree or trimming the tree. And so we picked up our tree on the 30th, November 30th. We picked up our tree then. And so today, day 1, that's in this book right now, is the actual trimming of the tree. So I'm going to finish putting these photos in place, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do next. Okay, so photos are in place on the front and the back. And then I had this place here. I thought I was going to do journaling here, but I have a different place now that I want to include my journaling. So after I had done this little vellum baby, I decided, well, this is what's going to sit in here. He's just going to be his own little embellishment. And I think he's super pretty. So I'm just going to find which arrangement I like best for this and get this in place here. And it might not be exactly in the middle or on the edge rather. It might even be right here. And I have this attached here. Let me see if I can pull that apart a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So this is how pretty this looks inside because I just used washi tape. I might need to tighten that up even. And so I'm going to situate this with the best looking trees, front and forward. And then I'm going to mark it and trim it out and go ahead and glue that in place. I think that's what's going to work for me right there. So actually I'm going to use this piece back over here again so I can mark it where how it's going to look inside that window. And obviously any kind of shape, whether it's circles, whether it's squares, whether you make your own hexagons, you can make this work. You can just, there's all kinds of ideas out there for having windows to just place some simple see-through-ish vellum accessories, embellishments, whatever you'd like to call them. Okay, so I'm going to trim this out and then I'm going to attach this inside of that window. Okay, so that's in place. Wasn't hard to do, just needed to add the glue around the edges and get the vellum in place and make sure nothing was hanging over, and I'm pretty happy with how that is looking. Okay, so I'm going to set this back into its space. All right, we're going to move on to another part of the same day, and something I like to do is to add the big bokeh photo into my day. So I'm not going to lay this out quite yet because this is also where I'm going to be housing my journaling. So what is going to happen is I'm going to create a pocket inside here, and how I'm going to do that is by creating some barriers, if you will. So this is just about an inch strip piece of cardstock, and I actually layered 2 on top of each other. So when this slides in here, it has a place to stop. So that's what's happening there. And there's just 2 other smaller pieces. One will go above this for its pocket and one below. So sort of self-explanatory. It's just giving sort of rails, boundaries, margin to where I want this journaling to fit inside and underneath here. One of my focuses this year with my December album is to be better about the stories. And obviously over here, you know, I could have done little snippets of the journaling on these white spaces. I'm actually going to be pretty okay with just leaving those spaces white and not trying to add any embellishment or try to add small words to it. I just wanted this to be fairly straightforward, and so this is what is going to work for me. That being said, I'm going to need for this photo here, it's going to need a cutout right there, so I'm going to grab my punch so that I can do that. Okay, so I'm going to sort of guesstimate here a little bit as to where the middle of my pocket is going to fit. And actually, I'm realizing I made this photo a little bigger than what it needs to be. So I'm just going to mark that so I can trim that out. I don't want to misplace my paper punch and where it's going to go on that photo. Alrighty, so let me trim that down here. I'm sure I had a good reason at the time. And then, oops, try that again. All right, that'll be better. Okay, so this is going to just, then I ended up making it a little bit smaller than my background paper. That's okay, because we can go back and fix that. So I think about right here is where I'm going to make that little half circle notch. It just makes it easier if you're making pockets or any kind of envelope or whatever, that you have something slipped inside. That just makes it easier to pull the piece out. I haven't decided if I need that back piece out yet. I'm going to get it all into place and then make a decision at that point. Okay, so what you're going to want to do when you adhere this down is not have any of the adhesive in this space here. It's your pocket, right? So I'm going to add plenty of adhesive here on the outside. I'm using that ScrapbookCom exclusive roller roller tape, and it has truly become my favorite roller tape. And I will link that below if you have any interest in upping your game. It's just, you know, you use something for a while and then you're like, I'm not really sure why I use this. And then something else comes along. I'm like, oh, I love this so much better. So I do. I love that lot. So I'm going to line this up right here. And then I'll just go back and trim my edges out after it's in place, because now I know exactly what this needs to look like. And let's just test our pocket here. Yep, exactly what I need that to do. But yeah, I'm going to need that on both sides. So I'm just going to come in here, easy fix. I don't always know if I want that to be on both sides or not, so I do. It's just paper. I just go in and fix it. Ta-da! Yeah, that's great. I love that. I love having that there. And you can see it, obviously, super well. So I just need to add holes to this, trim up my edges, and then day one is in place. Okay, so day one is officially in place now. Over here, I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. I think I might need a phrase sticker, a word sticker here. Haven't totally decided, you know, because sometimes just less is more, right? I just love all that. I love taking bokeh pictures. I got a real thing about that. Okay, day two is super simple. So what's up with day two? This also came from Pattern Play 3 by Ali Edwards. And in there, we made this accordion book. And this is her thankful file. And this could be, again, you know, I'm not giving anything away by showing you this, and you can figure out how to make your own if you are so inclined. What I'm going to do is off camera, I'm just going to go ahead and fill in what I'm thankful for right now. I'm going to say this real quick again, because this is a very important part of my life right now. And of course, I want to share it with others as well. And that is the mindset of being thankful. And I know we're in a terribly busy time of year, but we creatives, we love to do the creative. We want to try to do all the things, right? But this is just my encouragement to you. Just kind of slow down a little bit and just look around you. It doesn't even have to be about Christmas. It's just like, what is good in your life right now? We are hit all the time with nonstop bombardment, from whether it's from families or whether it's from work or whether it's from the needs in our community. We could go on and on, right? There's so much, though, out there just waiting for us to observe and be thankful for. And that's what this page is about. One more thing about this is I loved having a prompt that didn't necessarily have to have a photo. Now, I do have a photo from this day, which is its cute own little story. And I have this space right here that I might still go back in and tell that little story. I don't know. I don't have to, though, right? So it's just nice to scatter throughout here are a couple of times where I don't have to necessarily have a photo and a big old story, but I just have to respond to something. I think that's a great way to go about a December album as well. So I'll be back after I get that journaling filled in. That is in place. I just love that. It just kind of tickles me that is in. I need to find a little clip to go in there. I don't think I have any, so I need to find me a little clip. All right, day three. Day three has a clear plastic marker, which was just fun. This actually made me think about next year's book and something I want to try for next year. But, you know, one idea prompts another, right? So I realized here, I have a place right here where I wanted to add a photo, and I haven't prepared that yet. So it's just going to have to stay blank till I can get to it. But this side is going to be what day three is. So what I want to do in day three, and I do this in all my books, is it's an around here kind of a look. So this is a 12 pocket page protector, and I came up with 6 photos here. Don't look at these. This is for another story. I came up with 6 photos here that are going to go in these pockets. And then I've also already pre-printed my journaling, and the journaling is going to be on the opposite page. I realized in the past that while I have taken photos of around here, around my home, and what sticks out for the holiday decorating, I haven't necessarily talked about why that might be important to me, or even I wish I would have shown a better evolution through the years, because it has changed, not dramatically, but it has changed through the years. So I'm going to get these trimmed out and then get them in their pockets. But before I get them in pockets, I need to get their, the journaling attached behind. So I'm going to work through this. Okay, so I have everything ready, I think, for my 12 little squares here. What I'm going to do first is decide what is going to go where and find its journaling, and hoping that everything lines up. If not, we'll just need to be doing a little bit of trimming up here and there. So this isn't rocket science. All I've done here is I printed home pretty much exclusively, and I just made sure when I took these pictures, because I knew I was going to have this particular pocket page protector for them. So when I took my photos around the house, I tend to take photos in portrait mode, so up and down. These I made sure I took them squared. So, oops, and I'm finding that my 2-inch size is just a little big for my pocket. So I'm going to go and trim this just ever so slightly. I'm super happy with how well this We Are Memory Keepers Guillotine can trim like the smallest little slice. I don't have this kind of luck on my regular trimmer. So this was a nice discovery when I realized sometimes I just have to go in, I just need to just cut a little sliver off an edge, and that cuts nicely. There we go. Okay, so a little bit bigger. I'm sorry, the square is a little smaller, slightly, than a 2-inch square. I print exclusively at home, and am able to then, just get them printed immediately, or whatever size I need. And I really like that convenience. And if you're interested, I can link that printer below. I'm pretty happy with this most recent Canon that I have picked up. Okay, so those pictures are in place. Pretty happy with my grid. I love working on a grid, so I'm loving that already. Okay, what I've done here, I'm just going to add just a couple of embellishments in the extra pockets. I took the Heidi Swapp Stamp and Die Winter Wonderland little cute deer. I stamped 2 pieces of gold paper. The thing with glitter paper when you are die cutting is you have to go over it several times. They do not just want to innately cut. So be mindful of that you might have to go through and die cut those a couple times. I was thinking about Staples because he's not just going to sit in here. I'm probably going to need to go back and fuse him in at the top. So I will probably do that off camera, just use my fuse and close that in. The other thing I could do is staple him in, but I don't know, I kind of have an issue about stapling a deer. So I don't know if I'm going to do that. Okay, so I have Mr. Deer there. And then I've also used another die from that same set, and I punched these out. And I always forget, I need to do the mirror punch when I want to set these up like this. It's kind of okay though, because what I want to do is I want to add the dimensional tape in between, so this has a dimension to it. But what I forget to do is that you have to make a mirror image of the second piece, or else it won't line up, just like I had to do here. And so it's going to be a little off, and I'm going to embrace it because I do think it's kind of pretty how you can see a little bit of the dimension from the back wreath come through. So we are going to embrace imperfection right here. Oh, you know what? I realized he might be too big for that. Oh, what do you know? He is too big for that. Okay, we're going to think about that pocket because I don't have a plan B immediately. I took a pre-made tag and I cut it down, and I added a foil tree sticker and a star from Winter Wonderland cardstock stickers, and I want to just add a tag. I was going to use red ribbon, but I'm already using the red star, and the red ribbon was going to be a little bit of a different color. So the old standby is baker's twine. And actually, I don't think I want to tie that. I think I want to kind of loop it. I might even go back and staple it back to the tag. I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay. And he's probably going to pop out the top a little bit, which will be okay. All right, tag, yeah, that's okay. I don't mind that at all. Another embellishment I wanted to add here. I'm going to add another kind of little tag thing. So I've got some die cut pieces. Let's see, these are die cut pieces from the Winter Wonderland ephemera. And then a Dear Santa from Tim Holtz. So I'm going to put a tiny hole at the top of this, and I might use twine to tie this one off. I'm actually thinking I'm going to move it down to here. So I'm going to trim him up a little bit, but this is the idea. So I have a stash of twine. It is from Joann's stores. And then I just take it off of its paper and I put it on this old wood spool. It's just easier. It gets super tangled when I leave it on the paper backer. So I've learned to just take it off and wrap it around something else, and it just stores just as easy that way. Okay, so we're just going to trim a little bit. Actually, I think I'm even going to go in and add my own V-notch and kind of match the larger banner that I have here layered on top. So you just go in the very middle of what you want to notch. You make a cut in the middle, and then you meet from the corners, and that creates for you a good V-notch. I use that quite often. It's just one of those, you know, you all have those go-to techniques, and that's just one of mine. Okay, and then I'm going to pop up the Dear Santa Tim Holtz Occasion sticker. And I'm going to have to cut this in half. And what I'd prefer to use, I just don't have it. I prefer to use just regular mounting tape because you can cut that to any size. I don't know if there is a dimensional pop dot out there that would be as little as this phrase sticker. There could very well be. The stamp market just came out with dimensional sheets of adhesive. That would be super useful. I'm going to need to get my hands on some of that. Okay, so I came to a couple conclusions here. I changed out this tag, so he matches with over here. This is attached to the outside now. I'm good with that. I found the circle vellum piece in the Winter Wonderland ephemera, and I am just going to add in a Mary right in the middle of it. This is from the same stamp set that these dies are part of. I'm just going to let it sit out for a second so I make sure that it dries. I typed up on my typewriter just a little word phrase here around here, and I'm just going to trim that down, and then all my spaces will be filled in. The only thing I need to go back and do is fuse that little deer in place. Then I think I have another little hexagon laying around here. I'm just going to back him up like my little vellum. I knew I needed a circle of sorts, so I'm glad I found him. And we're going to call this good. And okay, I've gathered the photos and elements for day 4. And day 4 needs a little bit of love, I believe. So we'll fix that. But how I'm going to fix that, I decided to use craft plastic for this day. I'm afraid my stickers aren't going to want to stay on the outside of this page protector like I want them to. So hopefully I can pull this off nice enough. Let me take this out of here. And I have some extra stickers so I can make my 4 again. The joy here is, oh, let's see, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get this off. Joy might stay, and then what I could do to make sure that my 4 stays in place is put it on the craft plastic underneath. And you're not really going to see a difference. You're not going to be able to tell exactly where the 4 is from the joy, but that doesn't even really matter to me. But I am going to line this up so I make sure that the 4 does go underneath. And I like to use my spatula tool from my silhouette, put these smaller, especially alpha stickers in place. Okay, so let's find another O. So this is an old stash of tiny text from Bella Boulevard. I could not find these out anywhere anymore. I think it's pretty old stash. I just happen to have quite a bit of that left, and I grabbed those alphas. All right, I'm going to slip that right inside, and this way I'm not going to lose those letters. To give the date for this day. So day 4 is just kind of your everyday sort of day. So I took a picture of some work I was in the middle of that day. Here I've already made my journal spot for this, and this is, it says the details. This is an old kit from Paisley Press, and I think it's 2016. I know. Okay, so I trimmed down this journal tag. It's going to sit in there. And that will be the front and back of one of the corners. I want for the back of here, I want this. All right, this is gonna slide in. It's part of that story. It's part of what I journaled here a little bit. This is also from that same Paisley Press 2016 kit. And I honestly don't know if that came up, if that's still available on the Allie Edwards site. I didn't check. Okay, and then for my very last opening, don't really feel like I need any more journaling to tell my story. That's already in place. I'm just gonna let that be how you can see through. That is fine. And then just add an embellishment here. So there are times I am fine with these filler papers. This is a beautiful paper from Winter Wonderland. Just says Merry Christmas in the classic Heidi Swapp hand lettering. And so that is fun to use as a filler page because of the writing that's on it. So it gives you a little bit of some interest and something to look at versus maybe just a pattern, right? Okay, but that's ready to go, but I need to keep it out. I need to put, I'm just gonna do that 25 right there. Let's pop that little icon up and slip that in its pocket. And we are good for day 4.